Second fact, not guess, fact is Ukrainian military is selling a huge percentage, up to half of the arms that we send them. Half. And I'm not guessing about this. I know that for a fact, okay? Not speculation. And they're selling it, and a lot of us winding up with the drug cartels on our border. So this is a crime, what's happening. Our intel agencies are fully aware of this. You tell me they're not profiting from this. Of course, you think the CIA is not profiting from this? Yes, they are. I can't prove that, but I believe that. What they don't know this, I know this, but they don't know this. They know this. And no one is saying it. Like, no American seems aware of this. We're sending these arms to Ukraine, hundreds of billions of dollars, and it's being stolen and sold to our actual enemies. Like, what the? I'm trying not to swear. What is this?
Yeah, well, the reason why is because you have Zelensky, it was about 3 weeks ago, I think, was specifically asked this question. So he went at some length in one of his interviews to say, oh, no, absolutely not. There's no truth to that at all. We've implemented all these things. I know that, but the media just reported what he said.
You know, the New York Times could get on the web and order Ukrainian weapons. That's a fact. I'm not guessing. It's a fact. They could do that today.
These deposits are priceless. It is huge amounts of money. Huge. That is why we need to protect it. So if we are talking about a deal, that's what the Americans want, then let's do a deal. We are only for it. Let's do the deal.
Hey guys, Carlos Cortez here with another episode of Scriptures and Wall Street. I hope you are doing well. We are in the second week of February of 2025. And wow, Trump is already full blown in, making headlines, doing the tariffs. What's interesting is how he quickly stopped the BRICS, how he quickly is dismantling Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Holy cow. You know, I have a trainer. I had a virtual trainer for a few years. He was in South Africa, and he would wake up, hit 3 a.m. his time to train me during COVID. If you guys remember the lockdowns during COVID, well, the virtual environment just took off, right? Everything had to be Zoom calls and phone calls. There was no in-person. Gyms were locked down. Even in Florida, we were locked down for 2 or 3 weeks. And I actually found a trainer that would basically help me lift, and he would just coach me through real time. And I had a great relationship with this guy. And long story short, he would actually tell me that people were dying, like the white Africans in South Africa were getting slaughtered by their version of BLM. So he recently texted me, Ricardo, basically texted me saying that our country's stealing farmland from the white Africans, and they're stealing their farmland, and the government has received over $8 billion for their country, and they're doing this to its people. And so it's interesting that Trump halted funding South Africa, and all of a sudden they're doing all they're saying is they want to do an investigation of where the money's going, what they're doing to their people, and they're responding like the president is responding saying, oh no, we're only doing it for public interest. So it's interesting how you bite the hand that feeds you. It's interesting what is going on in China and in India. You know, the sending the Indian immigrants back to India, and them saying that they want, and they were shackled, by the way, flying over to India. And now the president of India is saying it's inhumane on how they're being treated. I mean, the victim mindset of these people. You come to our country illegally, you're a criminal, but yet you want to be treated like royalty. I don't get that mindset. I don't get that logic. Unfortunately, we have embraced this. We have embraced this entitlement. Just because we are strong, just because we are wealthy, does not mean we have to play nice guy. And so that's what's happening right now with the BRICS. The BRICS are getting slapped. They're getting spanked. If you saw the graphic of last week's podcast, it's Trump smacking these countries with tariffs and sending their illegal immigrants back to their homeland safely, by the way. And we're stopping the allowances. We're stopping the lunch money. You got to work to get your lunch money. You got to work to get your own allowance. BRICS nation. So I just wanted to talk about that because just imagine that if there is no income tax and it was all just tariffs. Holy cow, man, that would change the game. That would change this podcast. That would change many retirements. That would actually help improve Social Security. That would save Social Security. That would help the stock market. That would help the businesses. That would actually bring financial freedom to many small business owners. That would actually increase the solvency rate, the success rate of a business owner. Like 90% of businesses fail within their first 12 months. I bet that would drastically come down. The number one problem for many entrepreneurs is taxes. I say that because my first few years in my own practice, I had liens. I didn't know how to pay taxes. I thought it was, you pay it as you go type of deal. And it really crippled me to the point where I had to disclose it on my license. Yeah, I couldn't pay taxes because Obama basically had me paying a lot of taxes because I made too much and I had to pay insurance that I couldn't afford. And I didn't pay insurance. And so I got penalized. You guys remember those days, right? Well, we are in some different times, guys. If Trump could actually figure a way out, like we did in 1913, this is how America was built, on tariffs before they started taxation on your income, we would have no income tax. We would have no SALT tax, the state and local tax. We would probably just have a hotel tax or consumption tax or some, like Lindell said, some type of internet tax. All these companies that don't need warehouses and they have a system as a service and they don't actually have a physical location like Coinbase. They don't have employees. They use AI and robots. How are they able to have a better profit margin than someone that is actually working and producing actually GDP and actually helping families like in their local community where people have a business, a brick and mortar business where they go in, punch out, get a paycheck and spend in the local economy. Those brick and mortar entrepreneurs need more state or SALT tax breaks, right? State and local taxes breaks. So it's interesting on how his perspective on building an economy, getting rid of the taxation. Many of you that listen to this have walked away from taxes through different programs. I'm not going to advertise for anybody, through a legal loophole, right? Through taxation. Personally, me, I'm not a big fan of that because you still need to show income in order to buy a home, to buy a car, to buy real estate, to get into debt. And getting into debt could be a good thing if you are purchasing income-driven products, income-driven businesses, assets. So I don't disagree with it. But for those of you that want to walk away from the taxes legally, you can, but you still have to show your income somehow. You still have, and if you want to borrow. Now, if you have millions of dollars, go at it. But for those of you that are average guys like myself that don't have millions and millions of dollars to self-insure, you may want to think twice about walking away from paying federal taxes. Let Trump do it for you, right? It looks like he is going to have some better success than what you and I could do. I would rather play the game, use tax strategies to lower your taxation, get you in a lower tax bracket, a very low tax bracket, even if you're making millions a year, and play the game. You're going to pay taxes, but play the game smartly and legally. So I'm not here to give tax advice. And let me say my disclosure here. For those of you that are listening for the podcast for the first time, everything on this podcast is meant for education and information purposes only. This is not investment advice. If you would like investment advice, give us a call, 813-448-3446, or you can visit us on our website and even book an appointment at CortezWM.com. You can even scan the QR code if it's there. You scan the QR code and it'll go rightly to our calendar. Also be sure to like and subscribe our new Rumble channel. Our Rumble channel is very simple. Just go on Rumble and put Scriptures in Wall Street, please. We are trying to build that channel organically, not through fake bots or not through buying subscribers. We don't do any of that. We just organically want to grow it. So if you don't mind, go over there and view all of our content. I go live every now and then, different parts of the country. I share videos about my family and what I'm going through, even worship music. I mean, anything from ice hockey games to restaurants to crazy drivers to my wife driving to my little kid checking somebody, my little guy who's 12 years old, who's not little anymore. My little guy, I mean, it's pretty cool. You get to live and see how I live a little bit vicariously through my kids. Share cool content about golf carts and trucks and just fun stuff that I like to get involved in. Anyways, go to Rumble and check out Scriptures and Wall Street. So today on our agenda, I won't talk about our scripture just yet, but some amazing stuff on that end. Last podcast, we talked about TMF, we talked about QQQ. I'm gonna kind of run through those real quick. But Jerome Powell literally is saying that, hey, we're probably not going to lower interest rates. We got a lot of stuff going on. What did I tell you guys about interest rates? You remember, don't be surprised if they raise them. Remember I said that last year? Don't be surprised if they raise interest rates. Everybody looked at me like I was crazy. Everybody looked at me like I was just an idiot. And that's okay. That's your opinion. However, there's so much manipulations. There's so much manipulations going on. We even have our own government buying our own treasuries, manipulating the treasuries, and basically brokering their own money to lend to the banks so they can make interest off our backs and the banks, and creating a fabricated market, a fabricated bond market. This is terrible, guys.
Yeah, it's worrisome. You know, the Fed basically has become now just a giant hedge fund. It's lost $1 trillion, and counting. It's going to be a gigantic loss. What it does is borrows money at 5.4% from banks and then dumps it into government bonds. So think what that trade does. That causes the government to think that it's better off than it is. And so that encouraged the government to be short when rates were zero. So why did the government, borrow so much in T-bills? Well, because the Fed was buying the bonds and it made it look like yields were going to stay low for remember the low for long phrase. So we've got these multiple problems that are going on, and it endangers the dollar. So that's the basic case.
Instead of the Fed having such large balances, wouldn't the private sector be starting businesses and risking capital and bringing returns and adding to growth? Wouldn't all that money be better if it wasn't with the Fed?
That's right. And we're depending on private equity. So as the banks get squeezed out, because they're lending so much to the Fed, it's literally a floating rate loan from banks to the Federal Reserve so it can buy government bonds. So if that were freed up, that would allow the banks to at least consider a small business loan and inventory loan, the kinds of things that help the economy grow. And this is on a global basis. It's not just the Fed. It's all the major central banks doing the same thing, meaning taking money from the economy in order to buy government bonds. We need to be clear on that. I heard the previous segment, they talk about money printing. There isn't any money printing on it. It's just money borrowing, and they pay top dollar for it. The Fed pays 5.4 to banks and 5.3 to money market funds, so to the Fidelity and Vanguard and so on.
So you already seen the manipulations. You've seen like what these guys can do. Like they simply just lend out billions and then we pay for it. We get abused on it at the pump, at the bank, at the grocery store, at the student tuition, wherever you spend the money at. When we go to borrow to buy cars and homes and other things, we are paying a premium. And so the bank profits from it, the government profits from it, and the people pulling the strings profit from it at your hard-earned back and your muscles and your own labor. So this is why I like having this show, so we can expose this and just have a conversation around it. Like, how are you in your retirement? How are you actually doing something about it? So what I wanted to actually bring up to your attention is tomorrow, which is Wednesday the 12th. And by the time you hear this, it will be a day old. This probably goes live Thursday, I believe. So I'm pre-recording this, obviously, but I want to play.
Say that at the same time, reducing that policy restraint too slowly or too little could unduly weaken economic activity and employment here. Just want to get your reaction to what we've heard in the tone from Jay Powell today in front of Congress.
Right. I mean, I think the story that comes out of today is that the Fed is on hold. There was some residual hope in the markets that the Fed might get soft enough inflation data to cut interest rates again, perhaps as early as March or April. It now looks like it's not going to happen until the middle of the year at the earliest. Not only is the inflation outlook uncertain, but the economic policy outlook is uncertain. And the Fed really wants to sit back and see how things play out for a few months before it makes any more moves on the chessboard.
Well, it's interesting because we await these comments with such bated breath, but then Powell is a master at leaving his options open. Did you get any hint of movement towards either a potential hike down the road or even just moving closer to taking a hike off the table from what Powell said today?
Well, you know, the longer they stay on a hold, the fewer opportunities they have to cut rates later in the year. So their decision to take a wait and see approach maybe lowers the odds a little bit for getting in the 2 rate cuts that they talked about in December for 2025. But it's still really early days. To be honest with you, you know, the Powell has said that the Fed is data dependent. They're watching the data. I think what matters more than what he says over several hours today is going to be an inflation report that comes out in a few milliseconds at 8:30 tomorrow morning. The Labor Department is reporting consumer price inflation data, and it's going to be the data that really dictate whether and when the Fed goes again. And this report that comes out tomorrow morning, the CPI report, is really important because in the last few years, a lot of the big increases that we've seen in prices have happened early in the year. That's when companies are doing their resets. So we'll get some important indication, I think, tomorrow morning about whether, you know, we're on maybe a lower glide path for inflation going into 2025. That's going to matter a lot to Jay Powell. He didn't give any indication today of whether he kind of knows or expects what's going to be in those numbers.
In other words, they're just going to manipulate the inflation reports, right, to make it look bad on Trump. They're just going to continue to do this on and on and on, this dog and pony show. It is comical at this point. Like, how do we know we trust the inflation report on Wednesday that's coming out, whatever it's going to be? Because that's going to dictate if they're going to lower interest rates or not. And so the government can continue to control the American people by monetary policy, by not raising interest rates, by not lowering interest rates, by just staying stagnant. This is a dangerous, vicious cycle, guys. Very dangerous, vicious cycle. If they lower interest rates too much, we have deflation. Obviously, if they raise interest rates, we have a spending issue. We have a liquidity crisis. We have the loss of power, the loss of your dollar decreasing. So there's two major risks here. And for them to try to wait and see approach, it's going to be too late, like it always is. So I'm going to be watching this. Obviously, there's stocks that you can benefit from and ETFs that you can benefit from. But more importantly, because of this unknown area that we're in right now, we're going to see volatility. And with that being said, I want to kind of just talk about the charts real quick. And I'll cut to the chase, baby. This is the fun stuff. So for those of you guys know, I actually like to day trade the S&P, the gold futures, and the Dow, as well as crude oil. So check out gold, man. Gold has cha-ching, hit 3,000. We hit 3,000 the other day. Right over there. So we hit 3,000, which is pretty cool. We are starting to see this all-time high, and eventually what happens is we get a meltdown. We see some resistance, some sell-off here on gold where it's coming down. We have red traffic lights. Of course, this is a day trade chart. This is not a long-term chart. On a 2-minute, it is dropping like crazy. But if you pan out to a daily, maybe even weekly, oh, wow, that's a little messy. But yeah, we see gold. It'll start to retrace back and it'll come back up. However, guys, the volatility is still going to be there. Let me go to my more friendlier chart. Ooh, man, do I want to talk about SBIT real quick? I told you guys about that one. TMF. What's interesting is since they're not going to lower interest rates, when they do lower interest rates, you guys know that TMF, my little baby here, is going to take off. Again, not investment advice, just information and education purposes only. This is a trade for those of you that are willing to lose money, that you could lose everything. However, you could go right now to the options market and buy $100 call strike price, spend a few grand there. If it never hits 100 by next year, January 2026, I would probably push it out till April if you can. Get the furthest out at 100, pay your little premium, and maybe buy a few grand worth. If it goes over 100, you are going to have a 6-figure trade. I mean, it's that simple. If it doesn't come close to 100, you can always sell out if it gets close to it, or if it goes up for a loss, obviously. But if it gets to 100 or doesn't go to 100 and you don't cancel it, you will lose everything. So the risk with options is you have an expiration, and that expiration, you lose your premium, the money that you put in, if it doesn't hit that certain strike price. That's what an option is that you're basically betting to the person that says I owe you. You are putting a future value on something because you believe it's going to go up, and you're willing to pay a premium for that value. Now, if it gets called and you call it up to 100, they will exercise. You can exercise your legal right to pull 100 shares at one contract. Each contract's 100 shares. You pull it out at 100, and you only pay a fraction of it, and it's worth over 100 shares. You own 100 shares at that point at whatever stock price it is above 100. Now, if it doesn't hit 100, you are in the negative. You could lose everything. You could cancel it before the expiration and get what it's worth at that point. But to me, it is one of the safer, riskier investments. There is no guarantee here, guys. This is not investment advice. I'm just basically showing and talking about how these things work. And you can buy call options on any leverage ETF, any stock, pretty much any investment traded. And they're pretty amazing and powerful. So the win rate may not be as high and you could lose, but the amount of money that you make on these puppies are so great. They actually they make up for any of the losses that you made if you are trading options. Kind of like what I do swing trade on options. So TMF, which is pretty awesome. Now, I told you guys, what did I say about Bitcoin? I told you guys that Bitcoin was going to go down. Of course, everybody's on the bandwagon. Oh, it's going up. It's going to the moon. Everything's going to the moon. But here we are. Yes, it looks like it's going up. And I had a buy signal the other day, but now I got a sell signal here across, and we are converting over to red, and this is going down. I think it might even go down to like 79, 78. It's going to take a dump. And when that does take a dump, short-term dump, obviously, Now, this is just a trade, guys. This is not long-term investment advice. This is just a trade. I think there's a small window here, but I bought call options at 11 here. I think it's going to go to 11. I could be wrong. I only put like $1,500, $2,000 in this trade. I was comfortable losing that. However, I bought it around $10, and SBIT right now is starting to come back up. So this makes money when Bitcoin goes down. I have friends that believe it's going to go to 20. I hope it does, but I'm just happy at 11. Anything above 11 is gravy. I get my money back and make a little bit of money. This is pretty good if you're short-term shorting Bitcoin. Now, I wouldn't recommend shorting Bitcoin long-term because it is going to eventually hit $1 million in 10 years is my prediction, 500,000 in less than 4 years. So I am not bearish on Bitcoin. I want to make that clear. However, it's just a trade, guys. It's just a trade. There's a potential where it can come down back to 60, possibly even 50,000. That's when you start buying. You're going to hear me talk about, hey, man, this is a great entry point because that's what Bitcoin does. It has these cyclical cycles where it goes up 40, 50%, and it comes screaming right down 60, 70%. And you need to be able to get in and get out. Learn to keep your powder dry, right? So right now we're in this up market. Even though the momentum is down, that means Bitcoin is going up. But there is a short-term momentum here that's looking attractive. If I can get to $11, I had buddies that bought 1050 calls and they're in the money now and they're excited and they're like, yo, this is going up. This is going up. And, I'm like, yeah, it's going up. And so I love this stuff. There's so much to talk about. We talked about gold. Let's talk about the QQQ, baby. Woo, I love this puppy. QQQ. You guys know that in January, I got a buy signal on the NASDAQ that it's going to go up. And what has it been doing, guys? It's been going up, man. This thing has no steam left. I mean, it's not dying of any steam. Maybe one little red momentum traffic there, but this is looking really, really good. It's all AI based. So you have QQQs. You could buy the call option on this. My favorite one is going to be the TQQQ. This is going to be times 2 the QQQ, which is the NASDAQ. And I showed you the historical values on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is just insane. Like the NASDAQ is just crazy. We have safe money accounts. For those of you that are retired and, hey, I'm tired of my broker. I'm tired of my advisor. He's not performing. Well, let's cut to the chase, man. Give us a call. We can get you the NASDAQ. We could get you safe money investments, safe money accounts following the NASDAQ. You make 100% of it with no fees and no risk. You just have to be comfortable only having access to 10% a year. You would lose nothing. The insurance investment company will protect your principal and all the interest that is in that account. It is fantastic. So personally, I put in 50 grand 2 weeks ago, and I'm really excited. I'm not going to touch it for 20 more years. It should be valued at $1.5 million in 20 years. What would that do for your children? What if you put 20 grand for your 10-year-old kid or your 12-year-old son? What if you just did 20,000 and never told them about it? Do you know how much money that would be by the time they're 55? Insanity. We're talking about like $7 to $10 million, guys. So is college more important or retirement? This is what I do for our kids. This is what I do. And to do this, I think it's our responsibility as parents to set them up, not to fail, but set them up to succeed, not spoil them, but set your generational blessings now. The generational wealth that you can build from these accounts, the green money accounts, they don't have it in the banks, guys. They don't have it with most advisors. They don't think that way because what they want to do, Wall Street wants to do, is keep you in the stock market, charge you 1%. Don't get me wrong. I make 1% on my yellow money. I make 1% as an advisor. I get it. But there's times where you just have to get out, and we won't get paid our 1%. And I'm okay with that because I don't want you to lose money. My relationship with you is more valuable than money. We have to safeguard your money at all costs. And so now with this day and age and all this new stuff and being a fiduciary, I'm able to generate a safe environment for clients that want to grow their money, like double their money potentially every 4 to 6 years. And now it's really simple. Just look at the historical charts on the 45-year chart on the NASDAQ. It is not rocket science. The daggone thing has done, what was it, 28% last year? It's insane. You guys are probably tired of me talking about this, but I cannot not talk about it. I mean, look at the 45-year historicals on the NASDAQ. Last year, it did 43%. Imagine getting 100% of that. 2022, it did 33%. I'm sorry. Last year, it did 28%. In 23, it did 43%. 22, it lost 33%. We made a zero. The year before that, another 21. 2020, 43. 2019, a 35. A 0. A 28. A 7. A 5. A 13. A 38. A 16%. Lost 40% in 08. Our clients lost 0. Another 9er. Another 9.5. A 1. A 8.5. A 50% in 03. Got decimated in the early 2000s, the dot-com bombs, 85% in the late 90s. I don't even need to tell you. I don't need to tell you how powerful this is. When was the last time you got these returns? Ask your advisor. When was the last time you had these returns? And you know what you have to do to get these returns? You have to have a high standard deviation, meaning you have to take the risk in order to play the game. Not anymore. You literally could go to the bowling alley, put the bumper rails, and hit pins. It's a matter of you seeing how many pins you could hit through a professional coach, through a professional person, a fiduciary that can show you how to swing evenly, no matter what age you are, no matter what disability you have. It is a set it, forget it approach. And when we're able to track this index and give you all the interest in a non-CBDC account that will protect your principal, that will grow, like Albert Einstein said it best, the best eighth world wonder is compound interest. This is what you want. This is how you build generational wealth, through a state chartered, privatized, insured based account that the federal government will not be able to access. They won't be able to track, trace, and control you. This is very, very powerful. This is personally what I do with my own money. This is personally what I do for my parents' own money, and for 1,000+ clients that have given us, that have taken the leap of faith to hire us as their advisors and picked up the phone and give us an allocation of a safe money amount that they want to protect and grow for their family, for their needs, for their retirement. And you don't need years. You only need to just make a phone call so that we have the ability to protect your principal and grow it with this index. And we can only do that because we're independent. I have chosen to walk away from Wall Street. I have chosen to walk away from a multiple six-figure salary to promote a company full of shareholders. I have literally walked away from that because I do not want to do that to people. I have been sued for recommending a Bitcoin fund, and I had to settle. And guess who actually settled out of his own personal pocket? Moi. So look it up. It's all public record. They'll use it to my demise. They'll say, oh, this guy's a Bernie Madoff. This guy's an idiot. This guy, blah, blah, blah. You know what the people told me? They said, Carlos, file bankruptcy, change your name, and you never have to pay these people back. Well, I have to look God in the eyes. Well, when I have to make an account of God, you can't look at God in the eyes. You wouldn't be alive. But I have to basically be judged one day. And I don't want to be able to say I cut corners. No, sir. So I want you to understand like how powerful this is. We want to help you. There's no need to be in a stock market and go through all this ruckus when we can actually make the same or even more based on the index, based on the same investments that you're tracking. We can make more than what you currently have because we're not losing, because we're not paying fees. And this is so simple for us to do. All you got to do is give us a call, 813-448-3446. We want to help you. And for those of our new listeners on the new networks, there is colors to this. So green money is going to be these type of accounts where we make money off the interest of the index, the same index that your mutual funds follow, the same index that your financial advisor probably has you in. But we're going to put bumper guards in so that you don't lose or throw any gutter balls. That is green money. They're insurance-based contracts. They're insured. They're safe. They've been around for hundreds of years, since the 1800s. And then you have red money. Red money is going to be your stocks, your bonds, your unlimited losses, unlimited gains, things that you can't control, things that you don't have any fees or you don't know what the fees are, things that are manipulative, that are cyclical. This is going to be your mutual funds. Unfortunately, your retirement, your IRAs, your 401ks, your 403bs, because they're primarily invested in mutual funds, which are comprised of stocks, bonds, ETFs, your MLPs, your crypto, your gold, your silver, your real estate, your fine art, your Rolex watches. Anything that goes up and down is red money. Now, it's not all bad. You just have to proportion it and earmark it and color code it. I have red money. I trade red money. I trade stocks. I trade ETFs. I buy options, futures, Bitcoin, short Bitcoin like I'm doing now right now. Hopefully, knock on wood, I don't lose too much because it is going down. I think it's going to go down to probably 70, according to my mastermind. Again, not investment advice. But there's different colors of money. And so yellow is going to be our AI-based, our smart money. We're getting in and out of the markets. We're trading ETFs. Most of our clients love yellow money because it is set it, forget it. We let the professionals handle it. You get weekly commentary. You do pay a fee, by the way. It's only 1% a year. And we're able to have liquidity. So you can get in and out. You can move it, transfer it out. You can do whatever you want with it. But we hope to earn your business on that side as well. And so having these colors of money, you understand the communication, you understand the landscape. You can look clearly now and say, hey, this money's for retirement. This money is my play money. This money's for income. This money's for liquidity. This money's for a rainy day fund. This money is for our retirement. Like, you can quantify what you have. And that is so important in this day and age, because one of the first questions I'm going to ask you when you do call is, how much money do you want to protect? How much money you want to set aside for retirement? What is your nest egg goal? What is your nest egg amount? What money can you afford not to lose? For many of you, it's all of it. For many of you, it's half. For many of you, it's a quarter. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. So I just wanted to share that because I really care about your financial situation. I wouldn't have a podcast that I don't get paid to do, by the way. I have to spend thousands of money. Like, when I tell you how much I spend on podcasting, a lot of you guys your face melts. I mean, it is just, what? Yeah. So this isn't free. The production isn't free. The network isn't free. The networks aren't free. The advertisements aren't free. And it's because of you that give us a call. I can continue to podcast. I can continue to pay payroll. I can continue to be profitable and show you how to be profitable. It's a win-win. And we get to talk about the cross. We get to talk about masculinity. We get to talk about the truth. We get to talk about the weird things on Wall Street, the truthful matters, the things that really matter, because of you. You have been faithful. You have been awesome. You've been watching us. You've been liking, subscribing. You've been calling us. You've been doing business, sending us referrals, sending us emails, just supporting our sponsors, which are all self-sponsors, by the way, that anything that you buy from this show, we're talking about Get Me Lean USA. That is a great new affiliate sponsor of ours. Peptides. The peptides have been great if you're trying to feel amazing. I've been taking this new stuff called Focus from Get Me Lean USA, and I am just wired, completely focused. I feel great. I can go to bed at night very easily, calmly, wake up with just a fantastic mood, read my Bible, read my scripture, get a little workout in, go for a walk. I just feel like $1,000,000. And I just cannot thank our affiliate programs like getmeleanusa.com. These products are amazing. You have to try it, guys. Here's some before and afters. But yes, great program there. And I don't know, they're like 80, $100 a month. Go ahead and subscribe. You get a discount, like 10% off if you subscribe. And I promise you, in 30 days, you will feel amazing. You will never want to get off this stuff. And they're made here in America. We want to support plant-based, non-intrusive chemicals. We want to free plant-based peptides for your body. Your body already has peptides, and this basically just unlocks all of it. A lot of the answers are in nature. A lot of our answers to cures and just amazing benefits that attack diseases, not cures, but that can help you with your problems are in the plants itself. So even my grandma from Nicaragua, she used to use plants to heal my dad's side of the family. And she was an herbologist in her own way. So it really spoke to me, this company, because there is a lot of benefits to the plants that are out there. It's just we don't have access to them. So why not hire a company that can put everything in a veggie tablet that's vegan friendly, organic, the whole nine, right to your doorstep. All you got to do is go to getmeleanusa.com, get you a pack. I love the fit. I love the lean. I've lost a lot of weight. If you guys known, I was almost 70 pounds heavier just a year ago. And all I've been doing is walking, eating protein, and taking peptides. So pretty amazing stuff. My wife's on it. She's lost a lot of weight as well. And also Stu is on it as well. So it's changing the game, and we're having a lot of fun over here. So with that being said, I hope you guys are learning from this podcast. I want to make sure that you understand that you don't have to risk your investments. And there's going to be a lot of manipulations with the Fed. There's going to be a lot of trauma in the markets this year. The volatility index, let me pull that up real quick. I forgot to mention the volatility index. We like to talk about the volatility. We make money when there's volatility because there's really cool things to talk about. Oh boy, here we go. We got a golden cross. Woo-wee. Just today, I got a golden cross alert. Oh my goodness. Guys, this is insane. Tuesday 11th, I just got a golden cross signal. Holy smokes. What this means, guys, is that the 200-day moving average is just crossed over the 50-day moving average. 90% of the time, this puppy goes up. Even though all this is red, it bypasses the red. It will slowly turn green, the momentum. And once this happens, guys, this is a technical analysis saying that we are going to see an upswing. Now, upswing means the market goes down. So we can't buy the VIX. We can only look at it and determine the volatility that is up. So if the volatility goes up, that means we can buy VIXY at a very low price point at 42. And we can buy some call options on this puppy. And if VIXY goes up, like it did back in August of 24 to 61, we buy a call option probably at 50. Guys, you're sitting on some serious money on VIXY. Don't invest in VIXY if you don't think there's going to be chaos in the next 3 to 6 months. Probably in the next month. I got a golden cross on the actual volatility index. VIXY is how you purchase the volatility index, is the ETF that tracks the VIX. So pretty amazing. The last time I got a golden cross, we got following a red signal and it went down. So we got another golden cross on VIXY. I'm sorry, on VIX. And I'm getting a buy signal. Literally got a buy signal earlier this month. So this is shaping to be some serious volatility, guys. I can't wait to see what's going on. So I'm going to be talking about it. I'm going to be like a geek behind the screens. Pretty amazing. For those of you that like Tesla's going down. We got a lot of momentum down. Holy smokes. This thing is just melting. Okay. NVIDIA, for those of you that like NVIDIA, just coming off a huge retracement. I would stay away. This is nasty here. This consolidation, all these gaps here, this is nasty. I would just stay away from NVIDIA. Not a good time to get in. And there's NVIDIA. There is another one I wanted to talk about real quick was, oh yeah. Let's just do an overall synopsis of the S&P. So here's S&P 500, still green lights everywhere. I mean, we hit a 6,128 on the S&P. I had a buy signal in January. You guys remember I said the S&P is going to go up? Well, it sure did. Sure did. I said it back in January. The S&P is going to kick pretty good, and possibly they'll dump the markets on Trump with this whole inflation deal. And I said the inflation is not going to go away. We're going to see tomorrow on Wednesday what the inflation report is, and chances are it probably is not going to be in Trump's favor. Right? We're still remnants of the Biden Luciferian agenda that has been hurting America for the past 4 or 5 years. It feels like eternity. But we forgot what winning looks like. We forgot what conservative values look like. And it feels good. It feels good that we are Gulf of America now. It feels good that we're spanking all the BRIC countries. It feels great that they're probably bringing pharmaceuticals back in, that Doji is calling these people out. It feels good to have this stupid lady that's funding luxury hotels and immigrants in New York get doused. It feels good. It feels good to send people back to countries, shackle them. They don't belong here. They don't belong here. Well, Carlos, how can you say that if you believe in God? How can you say that? Where's your heart? Where's your Christian values? That's great. That's not my conviction, guys. We have laws. We have laws. So, I wanted to just share something personally. My daughter, Rachel, I love her so much. I thought she had an oppressive disorder, like a oppressive defiant disorder. And I've taken her to get tested, evaluated by multiple doctors. She's seen a psychiatrist, she's seen a counselor, she's seen a psychiatrist that does evaluations. And guys, I'm telling you, it's been very, very, very heavy on me. It's been challenging as a father to see your daughter go through something. And I'm sure she'll kill me if she knew I was talking about her. But I love her so much. What I'm doing is I'm just asking for prayer. I'm asking for prayer that you guys pray for my daughter. The doctor says she doesn't have a learning disability. She doesn't have an intellectual disability. She has a neurological development disorder. So basically what that means is the left side of the brain can't really communicate with the right side of the brain. There's underdevelopment there. And so she will rage and she would, scream, and it becomes very a hostile environment in my household. And it really sucks. It really sucks to see your daughter go through something when she doesn't know how to process. When her only reaction is to scream, yell, and fight like there's a lion chasing her. It takes a huge strain on me. When the doctors say, oh yeah, your daughter has something wrong. There's nothing we can do for her. And so I've been stretched. Spiritually, physically, emotionally, obviously. And I'm just asking for prayers, guys, for my daughter, Rachel. She's such an amazing athlete and a sweet gal. but it's tough for her to even process. When someone tells her no, she just blows up like Jekyll and Hyde and gets rage. And I want to publicly apologize to my daughter because I've yelled her, I've spanked her, punished her, I've been heavy-handed her whole life. And I haven't been the best father to her. And it wasn't until a year ago, maybe less than 2 years ago, where I said, this is not right. I need to just learn her language. I just want to learn her language. And then it hit me, even with all my mistakes, even with all my neurological disorders and my craziness, Jesus still chooses to understand us and love us. Even as sinners, he still chooses us. He leaves the 99 to get the black sheep. So my calling today, my message today is cast your fears upon him. Cast all your worries and your anxiety upon him, that he has you in the palm of his hand. That if there is a problem in your life, he gave it to you for a reason, because he knew you were strong enough to get yourself out of it with his help. So I don't know what you're going through. I don't know where your relationship with God is. But even a grown man, you can tell as a man's success by the stress that he's able to endure. And us men of faith, we can endure a lot of stress because God gives us his Holy Spirit. God gives us his promises. God gives us his word. And we can run through brick walls. We can go in a COVID deathbed and tell a doctor that's saying, better get your affairs in order because you only have a 50% chance to make it. We can tell that doctor, just screw off. You don't get to make that decision. My Lord Jesus Christ does. He has a final say. We can tell Satan, go screw yourself, back to hell, because my God is bigger than your fake fear. My God is bigger than your anxiety, than your depression, than your lies. And so I wanted just to say a quick prayer for those of you that have actually stuck around and listened to me. It is my prayer that God gives you a spirit of boldness through the stress, a spirit of power through any type of conflict. That if you have a situation in your family, a mental illness, someone diagnosed, that your family will get through it. Your family will be strong like glue. That you would be bolted by his strength. That you will be a spirit of unity. That nothing will break you apart. Nothing could take you away from God's grace. He loves us that much. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Well, guys, I appreciate you listening to me. Don't forget, we want to help you. So go to CortezWM.com to book your appointment. You can also give us a call, 813-448-3446. We want to help you with your retirement. And I love you guys for watching this. And don't forget to like and subscribe us at Rumble. And check out our new sponsor at Get Me Lean USA. Get you some pet ties, get you in shape, get your mind right, and take the focus stuff. That stuff is amazing. All right, but I'm out of here. God bless. You probably clicked this link because you don't trust the stock market. You know that it's manipulated. You know it's rigged for the big banks. You know that you can be financially inoculated with everything that's going on. And the reason why you're here is because you might have some FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Fearful because you don't know what's going on. Uncertainty because there's no one to talk to. And doubtful because there's no plan on what is about to come. But one thing, when it comes to retirement planning, if you don't have a game plan for whatever it is about to come, then you are not prepared. It's time for you to protect your money outside of buying gold and silver. This is going to be the best thing because you're protected by contract law. Completely different animal, guys. Again, Carlos Cortez here. Hope I can hear from you. And let's just have a conversation to see if this strategy works for you.